It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. It's the DFS edition tonight. We're getting this bread for this 9-game slate tipping off at noon Eastern on a Saturday. We're happy that you joined us right here on One and Done. My name is Jay Heinrich. If you don't know now, you know I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train at Dr. William Cannon over on X. Joined tonight on screen by the man around here known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship at MC Holland 34, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, good to see you. Talking some DFS, man. How you feeling? Are you thinking that you're going to win the One and Done Invitational number 14?
Been close, man. I think I actually do have one of the 14. Well, we haven't had the 14th. It's tomorrow. So there's a QR code up there by Jay's head. If you want to go ahead and either shine the camera on that or go ahead and click on the link in the old comments there. You can dive into that. $5, have a ton of fun. I would love to win that, and I would also love to win the old 5K to first. I finished sixth, I think, a couple of days ago, so pretty close to bringing a comma. Hoping to kind of turn the tide here as we, man. I can't believe it's nearly February, Jay. So looking forward to this weird slate that we have coming up, man.
Yeah, let us know in the live chat what you're playing. Are you playing the 5K to first? Are you in the old $30 KOB quali like me? I got a couple of tickets I'm firing off in that bad boy. Are you playing some double ups, some triple ups? Some dollar games? Let us know what you're playing in the live chat, Mike. As they're doing that, I should say, Mike, give us your quick overview of this slate before we hop in on a deeper dive.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty ugly, to be honest with you, man. The pricing is really tight. You look at the totals and you're like, what is happening here, man? You've got 9 games on here, and nearly half of them are under 140. You've got one big total, and 20 guys are going to check in. And then there's one game that everybody's going to want to attack because it's so juicy, and we'll talk about that one. And then just without clear value, man, and Boozer and Toppin, it's pretty rough out here, man. So we're going to talk through it. And if you're a tournament player like myself, you can kind of do some weird stuff and probably get away with winning some money.
I mean, that'd be okay. I'd be fine with that. Let's do that. Let's see what we need to do to get that bread, and that's why we're here, right, on One and Done DFS edition. Hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. We're breaking them all down, 9 games, game by game, going through each one, giving you the deets on how to bring home that bread. So hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mike, let's get to this 9-gamer here. Let's start with Pittsburgh and Clemson. Man, you talked about some of these totals earlier. This one is a stinker. 136, and both teams sub 300 in tempo, so that kind of makes a lot of sense. Not a ton of possessions to go around in this one. This is like, how many possessions here? 65, 66, like just absolutely hideous stuff here. And Pitt is only projected, according to KenPom's metrics, to have 62 total points here. So can we find any diamonds in the rough? We know it's a 7, maybe 8-man rotation at times. Starters playing big minutes though, Mike, but it's hard to find a piece on this side. You got a couple of guys too expensive in the 7K range. You look at, like Cialipa and Corin, I think too expensive, right? Barry Dunning though, 6,500. Max minutes. Is the matchup the best? No, he's not. I don't think I'm playing him in cash. I don't think I would play him in tournaments, but I would play him in cash because that he's going to play 35 minutes, right? 35 plus, he might not come off the floor. So Dunning, for me, you get a little positional flexibility there. What are your thoughts on this Pitt side, man? Probably not a lot to talk about.
Yeah, probably crossing them off. The incomings now starting, but 2-shot dependent. DeMarco Minor, he's coming off a foul game where he played 19 minutes. He's usually a guy that plays 32 to 36. Again, just not that interested, man. 62 team total. Not a lot to like here, man. Dunning and Minor, like solid minutes floors, but is that going to produce fantasy points against a tough Clips defense? Yeah, pretty much a stay away on this side for me.
You know me, Darren. Safe play Jay. That's what they called me back in the day. Let's go to the Clemson side here. 74 implied points according to KenPom's metrics. This rotation has condensed during conference play, man, but kind of annoying at times, right? Especially in the front court, which is annoying because the interior scoring environment is pretty nice in this one. Carter Welling at 6,100. Been playing well before last game against Georgia Tech, was averaging around 28 minutes and 28 fantasy points. Do you know what I like, Mike? I like a fantasy point per minute type of guy. And Carter Welling has shown that he can give that to us. I think he's a pretty decent play on this one with some tournament upside, Mike.
Yeah, just when you think like, okay, the Clemson rotations are condensed, we're getting Welling, Godfrey, they're decent price tags, they got some tournament upside. Well, then they stink it up and essentially Wallen and Davidson play all the minutes in the last game against Georgia Tech. So that's awesome. I mean, Godfrey 5,800, kind of like Welling, but doesn't have as good of rates. You know, Welling's got the 35% combined rebounding rate, 16% assist rate, and a 5% stock rate. Where Godfrey, it's really he's got to make some shots and he's got to be able to collect some rebounds in order to even remotely get close to a ceiling. So don't love it. I think the only thing I'm going here to this in this entire game is looking at Dylan Hunter versus Justin Porter. I think for cash, you probably have to look at Dylan Hunter. I mean, he's played, you know, both of these guys have played 30 plus minutes in 6 straight games. So I feel like one of these guys is going to at least get to that 20 fantasy point floor, which you absolutely love at a cheaper price tag. I would say Hunter, the better floor, not as much usage and not as much stock upside as Porter, which is who I'd probably go to in a tournament, especially a large field. And then you got, what do you do with Davidson and Wallin? Well, both these guys played 30 minutes in the last game each after combining for 30 minutes in the previous game. So I don't love that. I do think Walling's okay. I mean, will kind of be popular because of his rates and his upside and what he's done previously the last game. But I'm not going to play Walling at 13% usage rate. And Davidson, yeah. So for me, I wouldn't blame if you completely faded this game. I think the only piece you really maybe need to get into is one of these cheaper guards like Hunter or Porter. And even that's kind of scary.
Yeah, it's tough because you're still spending $5K. It's not like you're dipping into all the way into the value barrel. They're right at the top there, and that's not really where you want to have a ton of question marks, right? So, if you want to go into this game, I'll shake your hand, but I'm probably crossing it off outside of maybe Welling. But even then, that's sort of tough because it's just been a little bit inconsistent. So we'll see. But again, not the best one to start off, but this is where we are. We're trying to find the diamonds in the rough here on One and Done, and we're happy that you joined us here. As Jeff and Dimitri ended up hopping in the live chat, we definitely appreciate that. Good to see you guys in there. Let's move along after everybody's hit the like and subscribe buttons. Okay, you did it. Thanks. All right, moving on now to game number 2 on this slate, and Darren knows what's coming up. Duke and Virginia Tech here. Toy Poodle. Is it really the Toy Poodle conference anymore that it once was? I don't know, man. I think they took that personally. Some of these games, I mean, these are some good teams in the ACC right now. 146 implied points, so better than the last one. A slight pace up here for Duke on the road, Mike, who run out 9 guys, and one of them is named Cam Boozer. Have you heard of him? Basically the only guy, man, that the consistency in night in and night out basis on this Blue Devil side here. It's to that point now, man, with Boozer where it's like he's in Zach Edey territory where are you fading him or are you all in on him? And it's really hard. And it's scary to try to fade Boozer here, right? Like super scary. Doesn't really matter the matchup though, right? He's how many can score as many as he can? Fantasy point wise on this, not a lot, right? So even at 11K flat, I'm not even going to say no need to worry. My accountant handles that because that's a steep price tag there. But I think what this is going to come down to here, one of the key choices on this slate, Mike, is are you going to play Cam Boozer or are you going to play Toppin, who we'll talk about later?
Yeah, that's because it's going to be tough to get to both, right? They're both 5 figures, and it's like we're just talked about off the top. It's tough to find value in this one. Boozer, obviously, though, his rates are just so good. And this is a spot where he can take advantage of Virginia Tech. They're just not very good on the glass. So an easy double-double coming here for Boozer. It's just whether or not he's going to get the stocks because he's going to get assists, man. He's just a great player. So, yeah, I think you're going to have to make a choice on this slate. These other guys, Jay, like I don't really like anything else on this Duke side. Like Isaiah Evans and Gongba, they're up there in the nearly 7K range. Like Evans would have to get really hot shooting on the road. He does have a decent stock, combined stock, but I don't know. I don't love it. And Ngongba would need to obviously stay out of foul trouble. You need to know if his minutes are going to get there, which that's never really guaranteed for him. So you got Malik Brown there. So probably crossing both of these guys off. And you have normally what would be like the cheap guys that are like 3,600 to like 4K. And now it's Foster at 4,800, Sarr at 4,400. Both guys are probable. They just popped up with questionable tags. You got Caden Boozer at 4,100. Just tougher to play these guys, especially on the road. Foster's now close to that 5K range, where it's like that's kind of taking away his upside. Sarr, not really involved offensively. Everything has to go right for him. 14.5% usage rate in conference play. Little Boozer just doesn't get enough minutes because Foster is obviously there at the point. I would love if one of those guys sat. Like if Foster sat, we could obviously go to Caden Boozer, but both guys are probable tomorrow. So for me, it's really Boozer on this side and nothing else, to be honest with you.
Maybe one of those things where, as we're checking lineups before lock there, and just checking to see if one of those guys, because it happens from time to time, right? Goes from probable to out, and you're like, what? Oh my, what do I got to do here? Let's get one of these guys in at 4,400, 4,800, 4,100 if you're going Caden Boozer, So we'll be following up on that as well, and let's keep on rolling to this Virginia Tech side. 7 guys playing all the minutes. I can definitely deal with that. And 2 or 3 starters usually getting into the 30s. The problem is they're going up against the 4th best defensive efficiency in the country. Virginia Tech only projected, according to KenPom's metrics, to score 67 points in this one. So we'll run through some of these real quick. Amani Hansberry at 8K flat, always interesting. But, man, this front court matchup is for the birds. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on Hansberry, even with pretty solid rates, but I just don't want to pay 8K for this matchup. You got Ben Hammond at 7,400, has been playing mega minutes, but now you're paying for all those minutes. And do I like to pay for those minutes? No. So I'm going to pass on Hammond as well. Toby Lawal, man, the price also climbing a little bit, but he is the guy on this side that I feel like that I can get a little bit more interested in tournaments. And I guess of all those expensive options, probably the best play out of those 3.
Yeah, it's hard to get to those guys. We just talked about Boozer, right? I mean, that's 11K coming off your salary, and if you don't play him, 10.5 is coming off the top end. So, yeah, that 7 to 8K range really, really tough, especially when it's not clear. Abdulas, man, at 5,700. This is the guy I probably want to attack with in tourneys. 24% usage rate, 29% assist rate. He's really cooled off from the start. Helped me win a GPP early in the year, like 2 games in when he fried Providence, but it's just hard for me to ignore a 5,700 price tag for a guy that's got these type of rates. So I think it's probably Boozer and Avila. So the only guys I'm really looking at, like if you want to look at Bedford, he's 4,900. He's pretty cheap for this slate. His minutes can definitely fluctuate, but he's had some monster performances. As we get closer to lock, he may be a guy that you want to take some shots at in tournaments if you think Virginia Tech really gives Duke a run here. Because if they go over this team total, it's going to be because of Abdulas or Bedford are getting pretty hot. I don't think Ngongba and Boozer are just going to be giving it up because you have Malik Brown coming off the bench, even if you get one of those guys in foul trouble, who happens to be one of the best front court defenders in the country. So I'll mention Shoot. He's shot dependent, doesn't really have a role, but he started his career at Duke. But there's no point to really going to a guy that has a 10.5% usage rate against the 4th best defensive efficiency, unless you just think he fries them for 4 threes. But I just don't think that's going to happen, man. So for me, it's pretty much Abdulas and Boozer, and if you want to get a little crazy in tournaments, Bedford's right there at 4,900.
It sounded to me, I was hearing like Bedford had a couple of bad games in a row. I had a talk with people close to him and found a way to all right, this is my time. Got out of that funk that he was in, and he's been playing really well the last few games out. So Bedford is definitely an option in that one. Good stuff, everybody. Hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you haven't already, Darren, we're not rooting for injuries. I promise you. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. That's not what we're saying. We're saying we'll check back in case one of those guys goes from probable to out, and then we might have some value there, right? So never rooting for injuries. You are correct, sir. Would never do such a thing. Hop in the live chat if you haven't already. Let us know what you're playing, what contest you're hopping into. I know that all of you that are watching are going to hop into the One and Done Invitational. There's a link in the live chat already. There was a QR code above some here. It was over here earlier. But there's a link in the live chat. There it is right there on your screen again. Where? Somewhere. But $5 to play a nice little friendly competition with all the breadheads. Hop in there. It's fun. I won one of them. You can too. Okay. So why don't you get over there and hang out with us for a little bit? It's fun. And then when you win, we shout you out on the show. It's a lot of fun, and on the Twitter account, which is at One and Done CBB. So follow over there too. All right, Mike, let's get to one of the better game environments here on this entire slate. Butler at hosting, I should say, Georgetown. So Georgetown at Butler, 152 implied points here. Only a 6-point spread. So this one should be semi-close. And we like this pace-up spot for Georgetown a lot. Big-time pace-up spot for the Hoyas. 73 implied points for them, like I said. Typically 9 guys checking in. We know 2, maybe 3 are going to hit 30 in this one. Breaking things down a little bit, you kind of think this is a spot that Georgetown can crush and go over this total a little bit here. Butler's the second worst team in defensive efficiency in Big East play. They struggle on the glass and inside, giving up 58% from 2 and a 15% opponent shot block rate. So this is a spot where if you're looking, especially 152 implied points, one of the higher totals on the entire slate, and then you pick a team that you feel like can overachieve some of the metrics, and that's where we might try to find some plays that we want to slot in, including KJ Lewis, a really solid tournament option here at 7,700. Rates are awesome across the board, 27% usage and a 31% shot rate. We know he can rack up the stocks, the 5% stock rate as well. It sets up nicely for a boom game, man. We're looking for those boom games. We're looking for those guys that are going to find a way to go 6X somehow and just pull it out. And it's not like we haven't seen KJ Lewis go for 40, because a couple of games ago, he got Providence for that right on the nose, I think. So, KJ Lewis is a guy at 7,700 in a spot where we feel like this team could overachieve. That's a really solid tourney option.
Yeah, I mean, KJ at 7,700 lands in kind of that weird spot, right? But I definitely love him for tournaments. The rest of this Georgetown side, though, Jake, kind of tough to like because they're running out a lot of guys. You got Caleb Williams, Uchukwu, Mulready, Halafanua. Man, I would love to see one of these bigs, because when you're breaking down this team like you were, man, with Butler, it's like you can take advantage inside. But the problem is that Uchukwu and Halafanua, I can't believe I'm saying their names correctly, both together here. They're basically in a timeshare, and it's really hard to take advantage of them. I don't mind that Uchukwu, he was overtaken again by Halafanua in the starting lineup. He's been playing more minutes, but 23 and 28 in the last 2. One of these guys, if you pick the right one, could have a 5X performance. More so maybe a 4.5 for Uchukwu, but we've seen him reach into the mid-20s. I just really wish we had a team that could really take advantage of what Butler gives up, which is why I kind of like KJ Lewis, because he's a guy that can rack up stocks, and he's a strong rebounder for a guard. So, yeah, man, it's really tough on this. You can't play Caleb Williams. Mulready's been getting more minutes, but, man, you haven't seen it, so you can't really go there. This Georgetown side, I feel like as a one-off, right, a KJ Lewis or one of these bigs, if you pick the right – there's a lot of spin the wheel on this slate.
Spin the wheel indeed. Let's keep it spinning over to this Butler side. Another big rotation with the 2 big dogs. Seeing max minutes. That's BizJack, our guy Cam in the chat, a BizJack truther himself. But I'm going to talk about Ajayi here in this spot. Not Cam, Darren in the chat is going to say, it's a safe J play or whatever, because it's a really good cash play. But that's what he is in this spot. Over 32 fantasy points in 9 out of the last 11 spots here. And he does always have tournament upside because of the minutes. A really solid team total, obviously, 79. If both of these teams, if this is just over and over, like this is a game that you're going to want some pieces in. Jai, though, 9,800. That's again, are you paying 5 figures for Toppin or Boozer, or are you going to spend 9,800 on a Jai and try to win 5K? You know what I mean? It's tough. It's a much better cash play to me of a feel than wanting to spend basically 10K on a Jai.
Yeah.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much. I don't think you can click him. we're going to talk about top and spot here in a minute. It's the best game environment. Well, second, it's for fantasy purposes the best game environment. And we just talked about Boozer, who's just downright a monster fantasy point per minute player. So it's hard to get to a Ajayi, man. Biz Jack Truther stands up. That's definitely Cam. He's 7,500, so the price came down. He was 30 plus fantasy points in 3 straight before the St. John's game. None of these guys were any good in the St. John's game. They got run out of the gym in the first 5 minutes. It's a much better matchup, obviously. He's really shot dependent, but he's going to be out there for 32 plus minutes, take a bunch of shots. So he's got some turning upside if he gets hot from the field. He's also a decent cash look, right? I think maybe we got to look at these guys like a Xavier Robinson. He's 4,900. Like everyone on this side, they just fell off against St. John's. But previous to that, 23, 28 and a half, 29 fantasy points, was playing really well. He's usually a guy that only played 20 to 22 minutes. Well, those minutes got bumped up to 27 to 29 in the previous 3 before St. John's. So we kind of start from value. So one of the better values. And then if you want to get kind of crazy, there's Drayton Jones or Johan Traore, basically in the same spot as Igachukwu and Halafanua. They're just going to split the 5 minutes right down the middle. Both have 4X type ability. If you know which one's going to have a good day, please send me a DM and let me know. So that way I can plug one of them in and move on with one of my value pieces. But yeah, I mean, Xavier Robinson, just a solid play, kind of like he's not going to quite get to the minutes of a Justin Porter or a Dylan Hunter, but the game environment is a little bit better. So do with that what you will, man.
You're just showing off with Igachukwu and Halifanoa now at this point. You're just saying
Dude,
it
that was like
just
10
because
of
you
them,
can,
right?
you know. I know, right? And you even called back to them. You didn't even have to say their names again. This is, you know what we call that? Growth. That's what we call it right there. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Hop in the live chat for sure. We want to hear from you. What are the tournaments you're hopping in? Are you playing in some cash games? Are you in the one and done invitational already? Have you hit the like and subscribe buttons already? Let us know in the chat for sure. Let's move on now. We're going to move quickly through this one. Marquette and Seton Hall, 138 implied points. Seton Hall won the first one between these two, 79 to 73. Not as many points projected in this matchup here. Big time tempo discrepancy as Marquette likes to run, as we know, and Seton Hall likes to walk a lot slower. Marquette, only 64 implied points here. Shaka's really tightened the reins, man, tightened the rotations. Basically, it's like 5 dudes, which is nice, right? But the problem is Seton Hall is slower than Christmas and has the 11th ranked defensive efficiency in the country, Mike.
Not a good combination there, Jay. Yeah, I don't think you can really play any of these guys, man. I know Nigel James, you can play 9,600 Nigel James and a 64 team total at Seton Hall. You can play Chase Ross at 8,500. The last game, even though the game went into the 70s, I mean, James was had the best stat line, 16, 4, and 5. That ain't paying off over 8K. So Ross was 5 for 17. If he makes 4 more shots, he still ain't paying off 8,500. So it's a pass. There's nobody that I can really play in this one, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you scroll down a little bit, if you're trying to find a little bit cheaper plays here, I don't know, gold at 5,400 is maybe a wild card, probably a low tourney option, right? But I'm not paying 5,100 for Stevens, who doesn't have the shot, 13% shot rate. No, thank you, not at all. Parham at 7,900, the rates aren't there for me. I just can't. I'm passing on this side. I'm passing. No Marquette. Cross them off then, and we will. And we'll move on to Seton Hall here. 10 guys checking in. Annoying rotations. Yay. Marquette is not at Bashaka's standards defensively this year. Only 8th in the conference, man, in defensive efficiency, during conference play. That is not even close to the Shaka Smart standards, even in some of those down years that we saw up the street from us here in Central Texas. They're giving it up on the glass and inside. So can Seton Hall, can we pick out 1 or 2 of these guys in a 74-point total where, maybe if they get a few more possessions? Yeah, is there anybody at all on this side?
Nah, I think you got to cross off. I know Jason Beast, he's calling out Payne because we all remember Payne had 22 rebounds or whatever. Behinds, I believe, missed that game. So I'm not going there. Adam Clark's too expensive. He just went off on Xavier, got the $1,200 price bump. I'm not going to pay for basically a season high. Even if you project him at 32 minutes, he's not going to pop. Simpkins 6,100, AJ Stanton McCray 5,700. Like, it's just not exciting. 20% usage rates. Like, they got to make a lot of shots and collect some stocks, which, I mean, I guess that could happen, but this is more of a cross-off type game, man. I just don't want to get involved with Marquette traveling to Seton Hall when we're about to talk about a 160 implied total that everybody's going to want to get into, man. So, yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah, moving along after everybody hits the like and subscribe buttons, we're going to get to this Texas Tech and UCF game environment that you've been talking about throughout the show. Mike, sometimes you just got to know to cross a game off, right? And not spend any time on it. And there's a couple of those games really technically that we've covered already, right? So we're narrowing the field down a little bit, giving ourselves some options. And now we get to this Texas Tech and UCF matchup here, expecting this one to be the exact opposite of the last game we talked about. This one's going to get up and down, a great game environment for fantasy production. For Tech, 81 implied points here, according to KenPom's metrics. 6 guys checking in, and the starters are basically playing the entire game, right? So matchup-wise, on the other side, UCF's giving up nearly 56% from 2 in conference play. So, insert Birdman rubbing hands together gif here.
Nice.
Tech, the big time team total here, and the big time spend up in Mr. JT Toppin, 10.5K. Can you play the slate without clicking his name, Mike? I mean, everything lines up for the boom, the 5X, the 50, or, that's in it, 5X, 50, let's say 50. The ceiling is 50, 55. Can you get to 60 in this matchup? It's possible. It's going to be difficult not to click his name. We talked about Boozer earlier, but Toppin is $500 cheaper with that big-time ceiling, all the big-time rates. If you're spending up this much for somebody and starting your lineup around them, that $500 can make a difference when it comes time to finishing up your lineups. I don't know how they stop him, man. And 3 out of the last 4, he's got 51, 51, and 71 fantasy points, man. I don't know how I don't have a lineup without Toppin in it.
It's going to be really tough. I think there's one way you can get away with it, though. All right, so here we go. And maybe we're early look, right? Because obviously it's late. We got some time to think, but I'm probably 75% Toppin, maybe 80 right now. It probably stays like that. I don't know. Maybe I just lock him and play him 100%. But if you play Boozer and you fade Toppin,
hold on 1 second before we move. What's the thing that would bump that down for you? Before we move on, really quickly, what is something that, like, if you look at this slate and the news is breaking down as noon Eastern approaches, what is something that would bring down your JT Toppin from 75 to 50?
There's nothing. Yeah. So I'm a baseline 75%. I will move up to I'm just like, you have to click him. He's the first person you click. The reason why I get down to a baseline of maybe 75 or 80 is because what you could do is you could fade him, play Boozer, and then play Christian Anderson at 9,400, who's a direct pivot from him, $1,100 cheaper, could easily drop 40 or 50. He's done it multiple times this year. There's been times where I played Toppin, and I'm like, holy crap, like Christian Anderson went for more fantasy points than Toppin. It's going to be hard to play them both. And playing them both, it's like, oh, that's scary. They've done it a few times together, Jay. It's just so tough for 2 guys, 20,000 to both go for 50. But I'm going to have one of the other. Like, I'm not playing a lineup that doesn't have at least one of them in the lineup. And then I probably need another piece to go with them, Jay. So, like, I'm looking at Lawan Watts. If I'm not playing Toppin, I want to play Lawan Watts. And then I probably want to play him with Christian Anderson because Lawan Watts does everything, right? Like, he can rack up, he can score, he can rebound. People may be off of him because he hasn't had the best last 2 games, right? But he's had 5X performances in the last couple of weeks, and we know his upside is 5 to 6X at this price tag. You can maybe play him and Toppin together just because he is so versatile. But yeah, Jay, like, that's the only way. I'm probably saying at 75%. If the other 25% goes, I don't play Toppin, I go to Boozer, and then I play either Watts or Anderson or Watts and Anderson together, trying to get away from Toppin's production. And even that's pretty scary, right? So, yeah, I'm just not really interested in anything else. Like, Atwell, It's too expensive. I'd rather just play watch for $100 cheaper because it's only got 13% usage rate. Just saying around shoot threes. Petty, getting to the price tag where I just don't really want to do it. Like maybe if you want to really hammer stack this game, you could put a Petty in there because he plays 30 minutes. But yeah, I mean, you could do it. I just think that's where I'm at, Jay. It's Toppin, maybe with Watts, or I'm not playing Toppin. It's going to be Christian Anderson with Watts or just Watts. And I just pray that, I don't know, because Toppin gets into foul trouble and he still plays through it. Duke game, he had like 4 fouls. And they played him the rest of the game. He had 2 fouls. Every time he gets 2 fouls in the first half, he plays through the fouls in the half. So it's not like, some of these guys like, okay, they get 2 fouls. It's like, okay, they're done for the half. That's not what's going to happen here. So it's hard, Jay, not to play JT Toppin. And honestly, I'm probably going to get closer to 90%. And I'm just going to say, you know what, Christian Anderson's not going to is just not going to beat him more than 1 out of 10 times, essentially. I don't know. So that's just kind of where I'm at. But that's where one of the other key questions of the slate is how do you mix and match this Toppin Boozer deal?
And finding a lot of guys around 4K to make up for playing both of those guys is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
If you're playing 2 of those, if you're playing both of them and you're looking at 20K for 2 players, like you're going to have to scrape somewhere and figure that out. It's hard, man. Like this is a tough slate to do it on. So you're going to have to get creative, play a few lineups, mix and match, and, shoot for the moon, because if you miss, you land in the stars. That's what they say.
Guess the right Butler center or the right Georgetown center.
Yeah, no kidding. Just, if you got the almanac in front of you, right? Jody, good to see you, man. Good to hear from you in the live chat. Jody, one of the OGs that used to hang around with us way back in the day. Definitely good to see you back. Hop in there with Jody. Hop in there with Jody and Jason and Cam. And who else is in the live chat tonight? Let me scroll up a little bit. What's going on? Jeff and Dimitri. And who else? Warren in there. All right, good stuff, man. Hop in the live chat. Let's move on now to Cincinnati and Houston. Oh, my God, Mike.
Well, hold on, Jim. We can't forget.
Why do you make me talk about Houston, man? All right. Hold on.
We can skip Houston and Cincinnati if you want to go back to UCF.
Do you want to go back to UCF here? Let's go back to UCF. My bad. I'm skipping ahead here. UCF, 8-man rotation, 3 to 4 starters playing 28 minutes consistently. Tech's defense has been okay. They won't turn you over, so UCF should get their looks. Fulks and Kugel on this side. Fulks at 8,300. Kugel at 7,800. Both guys with price bumps after their recent performances. I think Fulks that probably has the safer floor here. Solid spend up in the context of the slate, right? Like if you're trying to have 2 spend ups and one of them is at least 10.5, like 8,300 in the grand scheme of things feels cheap, right? And Riley Kugel's always boom bust. But I think both of them were in play, man.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, okay, you could go get Fulks, but that's costing you one of the it's probably costing you one of the big dogs, right? Or you can only play one of the big dogs. So it's just kind of weird. We'll have to tinker around with lineups. Stillwell, Burks, man, both a bit cheaper. Obviously, I think I prefer Burks just because he's $800 cheaper than Stillwell. I don't love the matchup for Stillwell. He's got the guard Toppin. That ain't going to probably go so well. But, man, yeah, on the first look, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm probably looking at just the tech side. Even though this game environment's nice, I may want to try to sneak one of these guys in. It's just going to come down to roster building. The prices are up, man. This is a tough – the pricing on this slate, it's so hard. This is one of the toughest slates of the year.
I thought you gave a little Tony Romo noise there. You're like, for a second there. Slid in there. Jill, I don't know.
He's going to run the slant.
Now, here's a guy that reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. No, all right. Anyways, hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're still hanging around after that. Hit the buttons. And, for some reason, sorry, Darren, we didn't forget about you. It's good to see you, Darren. We love you, okay? Thank you for participating, and it's always good to have you, my friend. Hop in there with Darren for sure. Keep him company in the live chat. I tried to jump ahead of Cincinnati and Houston for reasons that nobody knows because nobody cares about this game from a DFS perspective. Not really any quality plays in this one. Cincinnati is playing a little faster this year, Mike, than we've grown accustomed to. But in case you weren't listening or you can't read the bottom there, it says they're playing at Houston. So that doesn't really make for a good total there. 58 implied points. They're going to play 10 guys. Really, the starters playing big minutes, though. But again, this is that Houston defense, a slow game, and a garbage total.
Yeah, I can't really recommend any guys on this side. Like, if they were $1,000 cheaper, I probably still wouldn't play them. Maybe Jizzle James if he was $1,000 cheaper. But even then, I'd be like, what am I doing with my life? No, I'm not tapping into a 58 team total. And honestly, James,
Baba Miller, 10.2K on a 58 team total?
Can you imagine? Like, you might as well you could just take your money out of DraftKings, withdraw from the contest, and go do something nice on a Saturday.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can get to it either. I mean, I do like, obviously, Jizzle James has one of the best names in college basketball, but I don't know if I can. I think it's half as much as the double bonus, I think. Houston side 72. Mike, did you know that Cincinnati is ranked higher in defensive efficiency than Houston? Did you know that, sir?
I didn't have that on my bingo card, man. That explains the 130 total.
But yeah, exactly. Here we are, right? We're getting the 6th rated defense for the Bearcats. Obviously, bringing that to Houston here, and that's what makes this game total so ugly, right? You got Fleming, Sanak, Sharp, Uzan, Tugler on this side. Can you really recommend these guys? Let's look at Fleming's. I guess he's probably the only one that's matchup proof, but you talked about Dede Thomas earlier. That's who's going to be lined up against him most likely. Pretty good defender. I don't know if I want to do that. Sanak's too expensive. Sharp is too shot dependent in this ugly total. Uzan's floor is just ugly in this spot. JoJo Tugler at 5,700 for tourneys. If he could stay on the floor, that'd be great. I would appreciate that very, very much. If he cannot, just don't foul. Excuse me. But even still, I don't think there's enough opportunities in this one, man. So I don't think I can get into the. Are we just crossing this one off, Mike?
I think so, man. I think so. What's even weirder is that we're going to talk about a team total that's a total here that's like 40 points higher. We should get excited, right? We'll see.
If it were only that simple. If it was only that simple. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Show your broskies and basketball some love. We're on our way to 11 gazillion, fulfillion, and 1 subs. YouTube's going to make us a special plaque for that. But right now, why don't we get to like 1750? I don't know where we are right now, but let's push those buttons. We just passed 1738, and we're on our way all the way up. All right, Mike, let's get to it. Yay, 171 point implied total. Yay, that's what we want, right? You got like 24 guys hitting the table, broski. Like, I mean, we know that both of these teams are going to play fast. We like that. That's why the total is what it is. That's why A&M is projected for 84 points in this one, and Georgia 87. But when you have that many guys checking in, and statistically A&M is 13th in bench minutes used, I'm gonna give them both thumbs down, and I'm doing like my toes are down, all down. It's bad. We know what it is with Buckyball, though. Everyone and their mama and their auntie's cousin are playing, and nobody's playing 30 minutes. So there's probably enough pace for some of these guys, though, to have big performances relative to their pricing. But who, man? We know Georgia's defense hasn't exactly been gangbusters on the road. Are you going to be able to get to this side?
Oh, man. AG is 9,200. Like, he's a rate monster, but, man, 28 minutes, like, sucks. Like, if you could just guarantee me 33, then I'd be a lot more interested. But even then, it's like, okay, I'm just giving away a booster or a top. And it doesn't make sense. You look at the 6,700, 6,200, that 6K range. You have Griffin and Lane. If you think you know which guy is going to have a 4X performance, you can spin the wheel. They just play 24, 25 minutes, and they don't play any more than that. They won't. I guess the cheaper plays, Jay, like, if you're going to play 10, 11 guys, you probably want the cheaper ones to hopefully get some value. I guess that's the best way to put it. What are your thoughts down here on some of these dudes? We got you on mute, Jay.
Thanks, Mike. Dominguez, Isaacs, and Hill all the way down here. When you look at Dominguez or Isaacs, that's probably a coin flip if you're going to play one of these guys. I don't know. Like, it's a coin flip which one to play, and it's a coin flip on whether or not either one of them is going to get theirs, right? If any of you guys out there in the live chat, guys or gals, broskies or broskets, hop in the live chat and let me know if you know which one to play. I think Marcus Hill is probably the safest of the three in this price range on this side, and that's because of his price, right? But it's really hard to get excited about any of these rotations, man. It's going to be tough. But again, like if I'm scrounging and I ended up paying about $20K for a couple of players, right? I may have to take some chances on some Marcus Hills. You may have to look at some of these guys in the mid fours and just run some lineups with them. So,
Ali Diba. I don't know. I have a good chance to score fantasy points because I check into this game because everyone's checking in, man.
I can give him 5 minutes probably.
Yeah, front row tickets. Bucky might throw you in there.
I could give him 5 minutes, and it would be in 2 minute, spurts on the court, and then 1 minute where I would really run hard. I would run fast for that 1 minute. Okay, sir. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna have to find some value at some point, right? And can you find it in a total like this? It's a good spot for it if you can land it. On the other side, Mike, with Georgia, 23rd in bench minutes used, I'm still going to give them the 2 thumbs down. Awful, horrible stuff. 10 guys, and not 4 minutes, 5. No, these guys are playing in the teens, and you don't know where to go. Aggie's playing some good defense under Bucky Ball in SEC play, so maybe this is one where you look at 87 points on the team side and you don't maybe think that they can get there, but maybe they can. Think maybe 2 guys we can play in this one. Who do you got?
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? They do 10 guys check in. There's 2 guys that we can go to, though. So, I'm not playing Cannon Catchings at 6,800. I'm not playing Sorrell because there's really no upside at 6,400 when he never shoots the ball. If he gets 10, 10 block shots, that's only 20 fantasy points. He's still not at value. But Wilkinson and Kane, Jay, I think you have to have every lineup with one of the 2. So these are the guys that I guess make this game environment okay. Prefer Wilkinson probably just with his role in the offense and security of the minutes. He's closer to 28 to 30. Going to have the ball in his hands a ton, right? A high usage rate, 30% shot rate. Blue Kane, I see Darren calling him out, right? Always intriguing for tournaments. His price is playable for tournaments, a 5x upside. He has to make shots, though, man. He has to make his shots. 31 plus minutes in 3 of the last 4 is certainly interesting. So I think Wilkinson for smaller tourneys, cash, even the large field. I just think Kane, it's just really tough to trust his shooting to kind of carry you in a, a cash game. But yeah, definitely like him in the large field because I feel like one of these guys is going to get hot. And what's going to be annoying is if Millender keeps it going or if Jordan Ross, who's just kind of shown back up out of nowhere, they just play a lot of guys. So, yeah, could Millender come off the bench and have a good game? He did it last game. He's done it actually the last couple of weeks. Jordan Ross just shows up out of nowhere and starts making buckets. So, but, yeah, I think you have to have one of Wilkinson and one of Kane. So if we find any plays in this entire 171 total, it would be to play one of those 2 Georgia guys on every single lineup. That's crazy.
Well, and I could Jordan Ross is a guy that I could see myself in my value player pool when I'm trying to figure something out at the end of the day, just because of the total and what we've seen him pull off. You got to have a guy that maybe he will be popular because of his price. Maybe he won't. Maybe you got to pick somebody that is going to get. Maybe you got to be like our guy Corey, the king of the single entry, who pulls out the point 0.02% guy that goes Flames. Shout out to Corey. He might be he might be watching in the morning with his Cheerios up on the TV with the kiddo. Shout out, what's up, broskies? Watching Uncle Jay and Uncle Mike. What's up? All right. Anyways, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Push them all. Push all the buttons. I would play safe out there, my friend. Actually, no, I wouldn't. I don't know how to play. I would just. I'm reckless at this point. I can't. I don't got it, Mike. I'm getting old, my friend. Like,
dude, I saw you at the Final Four just hitting Jays like nothing. Get it?
Yeah, that's true. The shot never stops.
You're so humble, man. You're so humble.
Shooters shoot, broski. You know this. Hit those buttons if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. Hop in the live chat. Hop in the comments if you're watching later on. We'd love to hear from you. Even if you're not watching live, hop in and let us know what you're playing, who your cores are. We're going to get to our core 4. You can see it over there next to Mike's head, a couple of spots away here. We're almost there. We're going to give you some core plays to start your lineups in cash games and in tournament play. Let us know what your core is. Let us know what matchups you're playing. Let us know what contest you're hopping into. And make sure one of those is the one and done invitational. $5. It's in the live chat. It'll probably be in the description. We'll tweet it out later from @OneAndDoneCBB. So make sure you hop in there and hang out with us. We definitely appreciate all of y'all for doing so. Moving on, man. 2 more games in this 9-game slate. DePaul at Xavier, 148 implied in this one. DePaul won the first matchup 86-77. So we know that these two teams can get up and down a little bit more than these metrics might indicate. Gunn had 22-6 for DePaul. Carroll had 17-7-4 for Xavier. And Xavier's pacing up DePaul here, right? Like, so Xavier has to go on the road, but they're going to get some more possessions in this one than they normally might. They play 7 guys, basically, do DePaul, and they're getting a matchup that, I mean, anybody that's really gone up against Xavier lately hasn't exactly met the most resistance. So you look at a 72 implied total here, and it's not like we're paying $8,500 or $9K for these guys, right? Like, we're not paying max price in terms of the value on this slate from that perspective for these guys. I mean, Blocker is sort of priced up, right? Like, probably should be about $1,000 cheaper. So we're going to pass on him. Macklin, I don't know, man. It just is another guy that is 7,300. Probably doesn't make sense either, right? CJ Gunn, 7K flat. No need to worry. My accountant handles that. Now I'll say it about him. He's gone 46, 32, and 36 fantasy points in the 3 games. That last game, that little guy, that last one. I wouldn't worry about that little guy. Let's look out a little bit farther than that. And he had 32.5 fantasy points in the first matchup. So if we're going to get in on this DePaul side, man, I like CJ Gunn in this one. What do you think, man? You got anybody on this side a little cheaper?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just DJ Gunn in this one. I mean, NJ Benson, like, it's a good idea, right? But it just rarely works out. With him, he just kind of disappears sometimes. He's kind of a headache. So, yeah, probably not going to Benson. I'm not playing RJ Smith, dude. Like, I know he had a good game, but he's in a last game out. 15% usage rate. I'm not – why would I go there? We talked about Xavier Robinson. We talked about Justin Porter. We talked about Dylan Hunter. Like, those guys are even a little bit cheaper. I just don't see a reason to go to Smith. So I really like Gunn here, man. God, like, this game, man, I wish all these guys, even on this Xavier side, some expensive dudes, man. Like, it's these price tags are insane.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Stan, good to see you in the live chat. Let us know if you're going to pay $10K for Trey Carroll, man, because I don't know if I can. 76 implied points for Xavier. 7 guys really playing all the minutes. They're going to give up some stocks, or DePaul. So from the Xavier perspective, like, okay, maybe we could get some blocks and stuff like that, but you're going to have to pay off every bit of these price tags for these high-priced guys on this side. Can you get to these prices for some of the guys on this side, Mike?
No. Can you imagine? You just said it.
No.
10K for Trey Carroll, 10-2 for Baba Miller when we have 10-5 Toppin and 11K Boozer? Like, I don't know. I don't get it, man. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, yes, more featuring he can stuff the stat sheet, man. That's a big price tag though, 9K.
Huge. Yeah.
No, and then okay, so I know the chat's talking about Malik Messina more. I'm with it. Been burned so many times by this guy at a cheaper price tag that maybe him being at like a season high price tag will help out. He's been delivering, right? Outside the last game, crossed it off. Hopefully, it's not the start of things to come. We got rid of that one. 30 plus fantasy points in 4 of the last 6, 20 fantasy points in 8 of the last plus fantasy points in 8 of the last 10. So kind of a solid floor ceiling combination right in this mid tier in a decent game environment. So I don't mind that. And then I don't know if I'm all right, Jay, here at 3,900 with a name, 11% usage rate, 9% shot rate in conference play. 11 to 14 fantasy points, but that 4K, that's just still not like I would rather take shots at the Georgetown bigs that can get to a 20, or go to the Butler bigs that can get to a 20. That's how I want to live with the 4K. Like I don't want to take a shot on all right. Like there's just other guys that can do more even in limited minutes. And this guy's not even going to play. He's not going to play that many minutes. So yeah, Messina Moore and Gunn, dude, like 2 good mid-tier plays. I think that Gunn has great upside. Moore I want to say he has a better floor, but every time I say that, it's just the wheels fall off. So
yeah, gonna be tough to get the blocker or Macklin on that DePaul side. But Gunn, I probably even would like him to be.
Got yourself a gun.
Yeah, got yourself a gun. I was trying to think of something while you were chatting, and I was like, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not even gonna do it here. We're trying to get this thing done in under an hour, and we can because we're gonna probably roll through this Virginia Boston College game on this one. 135 implied points on this last game of the slate here. Virginia 74 implied. I remember when Virginia was running again, and now they just don't anymore. Like I remember Virginia's. Was it last year that they were top 100 in tempo for a while, and it was like, oh wow, tremendous. 270th ish. Both of these teams are like 270 ish around that range. So not a lot of possessions expected in this one, as you can tell by those predicted team totals. Virginia 74. Cavaliers play 9 guys. Very rarely do we get more than 30 minutes from anyone, man. So this matchup against Boston College, they've been kind of solid defensively.
Yeah, weird.
They just can't score the basketball. What'd you say?
Yeah, it's like weird, right? Boston College is like playing defense. Kind of weird to say.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah, but they're keeping not being able to score. They can't put it together. Right here. So on the Virginia side, Tez DeRitter, 8,200. I mean, total boom bust. Absolute. He can go for it. He can get you there if you need him to, but he can also kill your lineup. He's been playing 30-ish minutes. I love it. I love that for Tez. What I don't love is that the price tag is up 1,100 here. The context of the slate, the guys that I want to play up for and almost will always pay up for on this one makes it very difficult to get to him. So it's just spending up on any of these other forwards that aren't named Boozer or Toppin, and that would prevent you from getting to one of those guys. I'm not interested, man.
Yeah, it's not the smartest strategy. Watch Toppin and Boozer both bust. Wouldn't that be crazy? And somebody didn't play them. I don't know. Maybe whatever. If you want to try it, try it. It's just so random if that happens. All right, man. There's not much else on this side, man. Malik Thomas, Sam Lewis, they're too expensive. Mallory Hall. I don't play Dallin Hall. I was laughing in the first half the other day when he had 14 minutes and all zeros on the stat sheet. And of course the game went to double overtime and I finished 6th because he was on a couple of lineups ahead of me getting overtime fantasy points. So that was cool.
Brutal.
Grinlow, people keep trying to play him. He's always 20%, 4,900. Oh, nice, Jeff. Yeah. So you saw me falling down the ladder. That's perfect. I just don't love it, man. There's not really anything I want to touch here. This Boston College side, 61 team total. I mean, there's a couple of interesting plays we can get to before we get to the cores, man. Got you on mute, Jay. 22 fantasy points in 43 minutes.
What rate is that? Well, again, it's not a good one, and it started off really ugly, and he still ended up, like you said, Mike, helping some guys get paid here. What's not going to help us get paid is most likely playing guys on the 61 implied total here on Boston College. Two guys, though, Payne in hand, right? Like that we know are playing 30-plus minutes. Fred Payne, 7,100 out of your salary cap if you need him. It's just an okay play, right? It's the big roll, right? This is definitely a safe J play type of a deal here with Fred Payne. Even his name is just like, what kind of lineup do you have? Kind of like a Fred Payne lineup, like just it's just. I'm not saying that he's not, a good player, but in terms of like how excited I am for like a big pop, what he could get me here, it's a safer play, dude. So, what about Donald Hand though, man? Do you like him?
I always like him in tournaments, but he can't ever make any shots, so it's kind of a headache to watch. You're like, oh, he's taking the first 4 shots of the game. You wonder why their offensive efficiency is very good. I think you have to use him in cash. He's going to give you 20. Like, he's pretty much going to give you 20 fantasy points. I don't really see him burning because he played 32 to 35 minutes. He's been 26, 20, 20. Now absolutely terrible against. So I don't know. Boom bust tourney, but like safer floor because of the minutes. Look, man, I guess for me it's like Hand, and then I don't want to play Kapke because he just doesn't do anything. Even though he's playing big minutes, this is a tough matchup. I think Jaden Hastings is kind of interesting for tournaments, man. If you're trying to beat 1,500 teams, and this is a slate where you're like, where the hell am I trying to save some salary? He's had some big games against tough front courts. Syracuse and Clemson, 30 fantasy points in those. It's totally volatile when it comes to minutes and his role, 14% usage. Just really a big rebound and stock guy. If he can get some putbacks, that would be nice. I'm not playing Luka Chews or Toes or whatever. I think it's Chows or something. Not playing him. He's a 4-spacer. Like, he's just not going to do enough in this spot, man. So, yeah, it's just a weird slate, Jay. Like, when we start building tomorrow, it's going to be weird because it's like, okay, first person you click is JT Toppin, right? It's like, okay, where do you go next? Because now your average salary is like $5,500 at that point, and it just gets brutal as you go through because the guys we really like are kind of in the 6K range. They're like, okay, there's some upside there, and you just don't know with this wheel. Like what's going to happen with the wheel of value. So maybe something pops up tomorrow on our injury report. It's basically happened every single day. And that's probably one of those slates where it's like, 10 minutes before lock, there's somebody's out. That's going to put somebody in a good spot. And that guy's going to be the difference. So, oh my God, is that the legend?
I had to. Don't adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen. Peanut Butter Posse gracing us with his presence in the chat. I think it's Taves, Luka Taves. I think that's his name.
He's Luka. I'm not rostering him.
Not gonna play on my team, right? Not at 20 minutes anyway. So, all right, good stuff. Peanut Butter Posse, you hopped in right at the right time. It's Core 4 and more time. And we're hitting the cash games first. The safe play J, whatever you want to call me. These are some of the plays that, again, with our core 4s, this doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to play all 4 of these guys in your lineup, every lineup that you go out. But these are guys that you might want to take a look at, core guys building around. A few guys to hit those buttons to start with and then go from there, right? Because especially when JT Toppin is at 10.5, the best play on the slate, like period, matchup, everything lines up like he's the best play. Does it always work out that way? Not necessarily. But at 10.5, he's the guy that you got to open it up and push and click his name and then go from there, especially in a cash setting, right? So you got JT Toppin at 10.5, Jeremiah Wilkinson, 6,100, solid play and a huge total for Georgia there. I like Donald Hand from BC, even though Stan said he's not playing any BC guys. Hand at 5,900. It's the floor, man, that I like in these cash type of settings. He's one of those guys that's going to play minutes for them. And at that price, with this slate, again, we talked a lot on this slate about the context of the slate. And at 5,900, a guy with that role, I need him in my cash lineup at 5,900. Dylan Hunter's my last play in the core, 5,200, just a solid play, good floor. So I got Dylan Hunter for Clemson, Donald Hand at Boston College, Jeremiah Wilkinson at Georgia, and JT Toppin at 10.5K for Texas Tech. Man, not too shabby. What do we got there left? I can't squint that low and see. What's our number there? What do we got per player there, Mike?
55.75. Not enough.
That's not too shabby, man. You can make it work. You know, you got a couple of guys. Man, I'm telling you, if what I'm hearing about Bedford's mentals out at Virginia Tech is right, like this streak that he's on is not going to slow down anytime soon. And if he gets those minutes and stays on the floor, that's a guy that, you know, that can help that average go up a little bit at least if you want. But Mike, I don't know if you're interested in him for tournaments maybe, but I know he's not in your core. So tell me right now, let's no more. No, we waited this long. Everybody's hit the like and subscribe buttons already. I know that they have because they're showing some love. They hit the buttons, and they're here for Mike's tournament core 4. What's the core, man?
So obviously Toppin a great tournament play, but I'm going to the pivot, right? Like, because I don't think you can maybe get to one of these guys. And it's Cameron Boozer, obviously. I love CJ Gunn and his upside and what we've seen from him already in this matchup, going up against Xavier. Lawan Watts, and this is the context of like you are fading Toppin, right? And you kind of have to play Watts or Anderson in that scenario. And Watts, you get obviously a massive salary relief. And then Blue Kane, just because he's in an awesome game environment. Wilkinson too, right? You can obviously play in tournaments. This 5.5, it's 5,200 to like 6,500 range is so intriguing, man, because you've got guys like Lawan Watts, Blue Kane, Jeremiah Wilkinson, Donald Hand, Dylan Hunter, right? You got Abdullahs, right, at 5,700. It's just kind of like, okay, like those guys, you know, we're going to play 32 to 30, 4 minutes. They're going to be out there. It feels like 4X. We don't get like this like intriguing value play that just like jumps up at us. That range right there is pretty solid to kind of build like a mid-tier team where you just take one stud and then you take a shot in the tournament on those Georgetown forwards. Split the 5 at Butler too, right? Those 2 forwards that are there. Maybe we'll get some news and that'll make the context of the slate much, much easier. Because as you go through it, man, there's a lot of cross-offs on here, Jay. And the cross-offs may change if we get even some of the – it's still 130, 136, man. Even cross-offs, like in those games, just it might not be the best thing unless you just get like a 3,500 guy that's going to jump in 28 to a 30-minute roll. So, yeah, it's just one of those slates where, we haven't built yet, which is one of the weird things about kind of doing an early look show. We haven't really built out the slate, right? So these are more pillars, right? Try to like get these guys in. But for sure, Jay, I'm opening the app and I'm clicking JT Toppin to start. And then I'm just kind of pivoting off of that. And I got to see what I can get to with the JT Toppin lineup and maybe one other like 7 or 8K guy. Because it might just be JT Toppin and then a bunch of like those 5.5 to 6.5 guys, and you just hope that they hit 4.3x, right? Like not even you just want the ceiling from Toppin, and then you want over 4x, where it's usually a case of you want 5.5x from these guys. It's just hard to see it on the slate. Too many low totals. So,
what kind of number do you think it's going to?
Bet for two.
What kind of number do you think it's going to take to win that 5K?
Yeah, I mean, I think you get
what's the sort of slate?
50 piece, and then you're probably. I think it's going to be a lower scoring one, but every time this happens, something random happens where one of these games that goes straight Notre Dame, Virginia style. That was the last DFS show we did. I think that was the lowest total by far on the board, and it had winners on it. There were people that played Shrewsbury and Harrelson that were like 4%, and it had 22% down hole, and both of those guys obviously getting there when you play a 15-minute game. So, yeah, we'll pay attention to the news, Jay, for injuries. That would significantly change the slate. Any questionable tags that pop up, could be a good one, man.
Excellent stuff, man. Always good to hear your perspective. Always good to hear the live chat's perspective as well. Good to see everybody, man. A very busy live chat, the liveliest live chat in all of college hoops, some might even say. Good to see everybody, man. We were busy tonight for sure. All right, Darren. Always bringing the heat there.
Yeah, 5K.
You can win. There's a 5K to first, man, on
There's
this
also
slate.
the one and done tournament.
Yeah, the also known as the MC Holland 34 Invitation. I mean, the one and done invitational number 14. There's a link for it in the live chat. There is a QR code somewhere floating around in the universe with it as well. Oh, wait, there it is right there. Wait, skirt. My mirror, I'm not good at this. Right there. Put your device over that and take a picture of it or something. Scan it. $5 to get over and hang out with your broskies. The one and done invitational number 14. I've won one. You can win one too. Let's go. Hop in there and have some fun. You can win 5K to first tomorrow. You can win your spot in the king of the bracket by hopping in that $30 qualifier. I've got a couple of tickets in that bad boy. I'll be firing off tomorrow. So, lots of opportunities to get this bread, and we hope that you do just that. Woo! Shout out to our guy Eric for getting the studio set up. Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets. Shout out to our guy Nape pushing the buttons tonight, doing a great job as always. Napesy Hustle over on X. Shout out to that man sharing your viewing device with me. He's El Capitan. And he's MC Holland 34, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. We appreciate all of you for your time. We appreciate all of you for your love and support. Shout out to all of you. Long live one and done. Let's get this bread. Follow us at One and Done CBB. Take care of yourselves. Tell somebody that you love them. Until next time, my name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. We'll see you.